My twin brother lived my life while I was abroad. My wife is pregnant, and I'm unsure I'm the father. Hi, Redditors. I 32M am from the USA, and I'm currently sitting in some cheap motel in the suburbs because I can't go home. My head is splitting from thoughts. I haven't slept for 2 nights, and I need to get this off my chest, otherwise I'll go crazy. This sounds like a plot from some Netflix thriller, but this is my real life. The title says it all. My twin brother secretly lived my life while I was abroad, and now I don't know who the father of my wife's child is. I'm in complete shock, angry as hell, confused, and feel betrayed from all sides. Please advise me on something because I have no idea what to do next. Get a divorce, beat up my brother, get a DNA test, help. First, a little background so you understand the context, because without it, everything will seem even more insane. My brother Alex, also 32M, and I are identical twins. Since childhood, everyone has confused us, teachers, friends, even our parents sometimes. We grew up in a small town in Ohio, and as teenagers we loved to use this for pranks, for example, switching places on dates or in classes so one could take a test for the other. But those were childish antics, nothing serious or harmful. Now we are both adults, but Alex has always been more of a free spirit. No stable job, moves from place to place, sometimes borrows money from me, but we're close. He knows everything about me, my habits, how I like my coffee, my jokes, even the passwords to my email and social media, because I haven't changed them since we lived together. I thought it was normal because family is family. I have been married to Emma, 30F, for 5 years. We met in college. She is a school teacher. I work for an IT company where I do software development. Our marriage was perfect. We love each other, travel, had been planning a child for a couple of years, but it just wasn't happening due to my work and stress. Emma is the best woman I know, kind, funny, always supports me. Alex also got along well with her. He sometimes came over for dinner, helped with repairs around the house, because he is a mechanic by trade. I was never jealous or anything because I trusted both of them. This year I decided to go on a volunteer mission to Africa, specifically to Kenya, where I helped build schools in remote villages with the organization Builders Without Borders. It was a dream, 4 months without communication because there is no internet or mobile signal there, only a satellite phone for emergencies, but I didn't use it. I warned Emma in advance. We talked about it for a long time. She supported me, said she would manage. I'll wait for you, my love, and everything will be fine, she said. Alex promised to look after her. If something breaks in the house or she needs help at work, he also understands computers. He would drop by. I left in May, and these 4 months were like another world for me, hard work, new people, but I felt useful. I returned 2 weeks ago at the end of September. Emma met me at the airport with a bouquet of roses. We hugged, cried with joy. It was like in a movie. She looked as beautiful as ever and said she missed me every minute. At home, everything was perfect. Clean, my things in their places, the refrigerator full of my favorite foods. At work, colleagues welcomed me, said everything went smoothly in my absence, projects completed, clients satisfied. I thought, wow, they managed without me better than I expected. Emma and I had a wonderful week, romantic dinners, walks in the park, talks about the future, intimacy, everything like a honeymoon. I was on cloud nine, thought life was perfect. But the night before last, everything went to hell. We were sitting in the kitchen after dinner. I was drinking beer, she was drinking tea, and Emma suddenly became quiet, pale, as if she was about to faint. I asked, "What's wrong, honey? You look bad." She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm pregnant." I was overjoyed, hugged her, kissed her, said, "This is the best news ever. We are finally parents. We waited so long." I was already imagining us setting up the nursery, choosing a name, but she wasn't smiling. She pushed me away gently and cried, "I'm not sure who the father is." The world stopped. I sat in a stupor and asked, What do you mean? How is that not sure?" She was sobbing, hiding her face in her hands, and started to tell the story. It turns out that a week after I left, Alex showed up at home, but not as Alex. He was dressed in my clothes, spoke in my voice, imitated my habits, even my laugh and how I hold a cup. He told Emma that the mission was canceled due to visa problems and that I had returned early. She believed him because we are twins and he knew everything, our inside jokes, passwords, even details from our bedroom. He lived in our house, went to my job, colleagues didn't notice either because we looked like two peas in a pod, slept with her, everything is me. Emma thought it was me and they continued our life. She said the sex was a little different, but attributed it to stress from the canceled mission. I was in shock, my heart was pounding, my hands were shaking. I yelled, "What the fuck? How did you not notice? We are twins but not identical in everything. And why did he do this?" She cried and said that at first everything seemed normal, but over time she noticed little things. He talked less about work, drank more, but thought I had changed because of the business trip. She found out the truth only when I really returned. Alex disappeared the day before my arrival, leaving a note in a drawer that she found later. In it, he wrote, "Sorry, brother, but I couldn't resist. She is so wonderful." Emma said the pregnancy is from that period, and the timing coincides with him. not with me after my return. We argued all night. I walked around the room, yelled that it was a betrayal that she should have noticed as a wife who loves me. She replied that she was deceived, that she loves only me, and that Alex is a psycho who took advantage of the situation. I wanted to go to him immediately and beat him up seriously. I grabbed the car keys and said, "I'll kill him, that bastard ruined our lives." Emma begged me not to do it. "Don't, it will only make things worse. Think about the child, about us. Let's do a DNA test, figure it out." I couldn't take it, left the house, got in the car, and drove off. Right now I'm in a motel, drinking beer and writing this because I can't go back. What should I do? Believe her? Forgive her? And what about Alex? Sue him for fraud or something? Help Redditors. Update 1. Hi Redditors, thank you to everyone who responded to my first post. Your comments helped me gather my thoughts at least a little, because I still feel like I'm living in a nightmare. You asked for an update, and here it is. A lot has happened in the last 2 days, and I'll try to break it down, although emotionally I'm still on the edge. Right now I'm writing this from a cafe in the city center because I couldn't sit in the motel anymore. It's too depressing. My head is still buzzing, but I'm trying to hold on and figure out what to do next. Sorry if the text is chaotic, but I'm writing as I think. After I left home after the fight with Emma, I spent the night in the motel, just lying on the bed and staring at the ceiling. I couldn't sleep because images were spinning in my head. How my brother Alex, my own brother, lived my life, slept with my wife, went to my job. This isn't just betrayal, it's some kind of madness. I imagined him laughing as he imitated my movements, him sitting at my desk in the office, him hugging Emma. These thoughts made me want to smash everything around me. I texted him at 3 a.m. "You are dead to me. How could you?" He didn't respond, but I saw the message was read. That made me even angrier. Next morning, I decided I needed to talk to Emma, not because I was ready to forgive her, but because I couldn't just sit and do nothing. I returned home around 10 a.m. Emma was in the kitchen, looking like she hadn't slept all night, red eyes, hair in a messy bun. She looked up at me when I came in and immediately started crying. "I thought you weren't coming back," she said. I didn't know what to say because part of me still wanted to scream, but another part saw that she was suffering. I sat down at the table across from her and said, "Tell me everything, from the very beginning, and don't lie because I can't take it." She told me in more detail how it all happened. A week after I left, Alex came to her in the evening, dressed in my favorite sweater and jeans that I often wear. He said that my mission was canceled due to some document problems, and that I decided to return earlier but didn't want to worry her because I knew she would be anxious. Emma believed him because he acted like me, called her Sunshine, my favorite nickname for her, made my coffee the way I like it, even imitated my laugh. She said the first few days were perfect, but then she started noticing little things. He was more impulsive than me, drank beer more often, sometimes forgot details of our conversations, but she attributed it to stress from the canceled mission. "I thought it was you," she cried. "I would never have slept with him if I had known." I listened and felt two feelings fighting inside me, anger at Alex and pity for Emma. She told me how after a month she started to suspect something, because i.e. Alex, started behaving strangely, avoided talking about work, didn't answer calls from my friends who wanted to meet up. Once she noticed that he didn't know where the spare garage key was, something I know by heart. She asked him about it, and he joked it off, but Emma started to doubt. She even thought about calling me, but remembered I was out of reach in Africa. And then, the day before my real return, Alex just disappeared. He left a note in the drawer of my desk. "Sorry, brother, but I couldn't resist. She's so wonderful. You are a lucky man." Emma found this note only after I returned, when she was cleaning the office, and that's when she found out she was pregnant. I asked, "Why didn't you tell me right away when I returned?" She replied that she was in shock, afraid that I wouldn't believe her, that I would think she cheated knowingly. She thought the pregnancy was definitely from me because we were together after my return, but when she checked the timing with the doctor, it turned out conception happened earlier, precisely during that period when Alex was in the house. I sat silently because I didn't know what to say. Part of me believed she was a victim of deception, but another part screamed, "How could you not notice it wasn't me?" That same day, I decided to find Alex. I knew he was renting an apartment in a neighboring town, so I went there. Some friend of his opened the door, said Alex had gone on business, and didn't say when he'd be back. I left him a note. "If we don't talk, I will sue you for fraud and everything possible." I was so angry I could barely restrain myself from trashing his apartment. When I got home, I told Emma I wanted to do a DNA test when the baby is born to know for sure. She agreed, but added, "I want us to stay together, even if it's not your child. I love you." I didn't answer because I didn't know if I could do that. Right now I'm trying to sort myself out. I can't look at Emma without mixed feelings. I love her, but I feel betrayed, even though I understand she is not to blame. As for Alex, I don't know what I'll do when I see him. Part of me wants to destroy him. Another part wants to understand why he did it. I've made an appointment with a therapist because I feel I can't handle this alone. What would you do in my place? Can Emma be forgiven? Is it worth suing Alex? and how to live with the thought that my child might not be mine. Update 2. Hi, Redditors. Another few days have passed, and I feel like I'm slowly starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, although everything is still very complicated. Thank you for your advice in the comments on the first update. Many of you advised me not to rush decisions, and I'm trying to follow that advice, even though it's hard. Right now, I'm writing this from home. Yes, I've returned home, but I'm sleeping in the guest room. Emma and I are talking, but it's not the same warmth as before. I'm still looking for answers, and here's what's happened in the last few days. After talking with Emma, I decided to gather more information because I felt I didn't have the whole picture. I called my best friend Mike, who works with me at the IT company. I asked if he had noticed anything strange at work while I was away. Mike was surprised and said, "Dude, you were here. Well, maybe a little quieter than usual, but everything was okay. You closed 2 big projects. The clients were thrilled." I explained the situation to him, and he was shocked. It turned out that Alex didn't just go to my job. He literally led my projects, answered my emails, even participated in Zoom calls on my behalf. Colleagues didn't suspect anything because Alex and I are not only similar in appearance but both understand it, so he fit right in. Mike said that once Alex behaved strangely, got drunk at a corporate party, although I usually don't drink much, but everyone thought I was just relaxing. This opened my eyes to how carefully Alex had planned this deception. It wasn't an impulsive decision. He consciously took my life and lived it. I also checked my bank accounts and found that $2,000 had disappeared from one of them. I never gave Alex access to my cards, but he knew my passwords because I had shared them for small things like paying for Netflix. I called the bank to block the accounts and filed a report about possible fraud. They said the investigation would take time, but it's a start. Meanwhile, I met with Alex. He called me himself the day after I left the note at his apartment. He said he wanted to talk and suggested meeting in a neutral place at the park by the lake. I went, although Emma begged me not to, afraid I would lose control. When I saw him, I was boiling inside. He looked like me, but I felt like I was looking at a stranger. He started with apologies. "I know I messed up. I didn't think it would go this far." I yelled, "You slept with my wife. You stole my life. You stole my money. What the hell is wrong with you?" He stood with his head down and said he had always been jealous of me, my marriage, my career, my perfect life. According to him, he just wanted to try what it's like to be you. When I was in Africa, he saw a chance and took it. I asked about Emma and the pregnancy. He said he didn't know she would get pregnant and that it happened by accident. He swore he didn't plan to pretend to be me for long, but it just took on a life of its own. I barely restrained myself from hitting him. Instead, I told him I no longer consider him my brother and that he would pay for everything, if not through the court, then through his conscience. He started crying, but I just walked away. I don't know if I believe his tears, but his words about jealousy stuck in my head. We grew up together, shared everything, but I never noticed he was so jealous of me. As for Emma, we started going to a family therapist. The first session was yesterday, and it was hard. I told her how I felt betrayed, even if I understand she is not to blame. She cried and said she hates herself for not noticing the deception earlier. The therapist advised us not to rush decisions about the marriage until the DNA results are in and to work on rebuilding trust. Emma suggested that I come to all her doctor's appointments so we can prepare for the baby's birth together, regardless of whose it is. I agreed, but said I need time to decide if I can accept the child if it's not mine. Right now I'm at home but sleeping separately. Emma and I are trying to communicate, but I still feel a wall between us. I don't know if I can forgive her, even though I understand she was deceived. As for Alex, I filed a report with the police for fraud and identity theft. It might not work because he is my brother and had access to many things, but I want him to face consequences. Your advice on how to move forward is very helpful. Should I try to restore the relationship with Emma? Is it possible to accept the child if it's from Alex? And what to do with my brother? Ignore him forever or try to understand? Thank you for reading. It keeps me afloat. Update 3. Hi, Redditors. Another week has passed since my last update, and I feel like my life has turned into some endless drama series that I didn't order. Thank you to everyone who wrote comments, your stories about similar situations, although probably few as crazy as mine, and advice about therapy and legal steps are really helping. I'm writing this from home, from our office, where I'm sitting alone because Emma went for a walk with a friend to clear her head. We are trying to give each other space, but it's not easy. So much has happened this week that I don't know where to start, but I'll try to break it down into points for clarity. Emotionally, I'm still on a roller coaster, sometimes angry, sometimes sad, sometimes hoping for the best, but let's go in order. First, about Emma and our therapy. We had our second session with the family psychologist, and it was even harder than the first. The therapist, a middle-aged woman named Sarah, asked us to talk about our feelings without filters. I started, "I feel like I've lost not only trust in my brother, but in the whole world. How can I trust Emma now if she didn't notice it wasn't me?" We've been together for 5 years. She should have known every little thing, how I kiss, how I breathe, how I talk about dreams in the morning. Emma sat across from me, holding a tissue, and replied, I know I should have noticed. I punish myself for it every day. But Alex was so convincing, he copied your gestures, your words, even your childhood stories. I thought you had just changed because of stress. I love you, and only you, and this pregnancy. It was supposed to be our joy, but it became a nightmare. Sarah advised us to do trust-building exercises. For example, every evening tell each other 3 things we are grateful for in our marriage. We tried it. The first evening I said, I'm grateful that you met me at the airport with flowers, for your smile, and for you trying to fix everything. Emma said something similar, but it was painful because I still feel the wall. Regarding the pregnancy, we went to the doctor for an ultrasound. Emma is at 10 weeks and everything looks normal. Strong heartbeat. The baby is developing well. The doctor offered to do a prenatal DNA test because Emma told him about our situation without details, just that there are doubts about paternity. It's a test where they take the mother's blood and the potential father's blood and compare the fetal DNA. I agreed because I can't live in uncertainty. We did the tests yesterday and the results will be in 7-10 days. While waiting at the clinic, I held Emma's hand, and for a moment it seemed normal, as if we were a regular couple expecting a child. But then I remembered Alex, and it all came back. Emma asked, if the child isn't yours, will you stay? I answered honestly, I don't know. I love you, but it would be a reminder of the betrayal every day. She cried, and we drove home in silence. Now about Alex, this was the hardest part of the week. The police contacted me regarding my fraud report. They said the case is complicated because Alex is my brother, and a lot of it was family access. For example, I had given him passwords myself once, but they found evidence. My colleagues confirmed that i.e. Alex, signed documents on my behalf, and the bank recorded withdrawals from my card in places I couldn't have been since I was in Africa. They called Alex in for questioning, and he showed up with a lawyer. I wasn't present, but the detective told me over the phone. Alex confessed to everything. He said it started as a joke. He wanted to live my life for a couple of days to feel what it was like to be successful, but then he fell in love with Emma and couldn't stop. He returned the $2,000 to my account and apologized, but it changes nothing. The police say charges for identity theft and fraud are possible, but since there's no major damage, projects at work were completed well, money returned, it might end with a fine or probation. I was furious. He destroyed my family, and that's no major damage. The detective advised me to file a civil lawsuit for emotional distress. I couldn't take it and called Alex myself. He picked up and we talked for an hour. I yelled, why did you do this? We are brothers. I always helped you, lent you money when you were jobless, invited you to the wedding as a groomsman, and you slept with my wife. He cried on the phone. I was always in your shadow. You successful with a wife, a job, and I a nobody. When you left, I thought this was my chance to feel what it's like, but I didn't plan for Emma to get pregnant. I'm sorry, brother, I ruined everything. I told him I no longer consider him my brother, and that if the child is his, I will make him pay child support or something. Emma, when she found out about the conversation, begged me not to do anything radical. Don't hit him or anything, think of us. He is already suffering, and we need to think about the child. She is right, but I'm boiling inside. Besides that, I told my parents about the situation. Mom was shocked, cried, said, how could my sons do this to each other? Dad was silent, but then said, you have a right to be angry, but family is family. Try to forgive when time passes. I don't know if I can. They want to come from Ohio to support us, but I told them to wait for the DNA results. Right now I'm trying to hold on. I go to the gym to blow off steam, read books about forgiveness recommendations from Reddit. But at night I don't sleep thinking, what if the child is mine? Can I forget everything and be a happy father? Or if it's his, can I love her as my own? Emma is trying to get closer, cooks my favorite meals, suggests watching movies together, but I still keep my distance. Your advice on how to restore a marriage after betrayal, even if unintentional, is very needed. Should I wait for the DNA or decide about divorce now? And what about Alex? Ignore him or sue him to the end. Thank you for listening. It's like therapy. Update 4. Hi Reddit, here is the final update, at least for now, because life goes on, but I feel I can draw some conclusions. Another 10 days have passed since the last time, and the DNA results have come in. Thank you for all your messages, stories, and advice. They help me not to lose my mind. Many wrote that such a situation is rare, like in a movie, and advised not to rush decisions, and I listened. Right now I'm writing this from our living room, where Emma is sleeping on the couch next to me. She's tired from the emotions, and we are trying to be together. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. Let me tell you what happened step by step, because it was an emotional roller coaster. First, about the DNA test. We were waiting for the results from the clinic, and when they called, Emma was in a panic. What if it's not yours? What then? I said. Then we'll figure it out, but I won't leave you alone with the child. We went to the clinic together, and the doctor handed us an envelope. I opened it myself because Emma couldn't. The results, probability of paternity 99.99%. The child is mine. I couldn't believe it. Read it 3 times to make sure. Emma cried with joy, hugged me. Thank God, it's our child. I also felt relief, as if a weight had been lifted from my soul. The timing coincided with the period after my return, not with Alex. The doctor explained that the prenatal test is accurate, and now we can plan the future without doubts. In the car on the way home, we talked about names. If a boy, James, after my grandfather. If a girl, Olivia, because Emma likes it. It was the first time in a long time that we laughed together. But this didn't solve all the problems. We went to the 3rd therapy session, and there I talked about my feelings. Even if the child is mine, I still feel betrayed. Alex stole a part of our life, and Emma, she allowed it to happen. Sarah asked Emma, "Why didn't you notice earlier?" Emma explained in more detail. At first, everything was as usual. He knew our rituals, how we have dinner, how we watch series. But after a month, I started to doubt. He forgot little things, like my allergy to certain foods, or didn't remember our last vacation in detail. I thought about asking, but was afraid of seeming paranoid. When he disappeared, I realized, but it was too late. The therapist advised us to work on communication, discuss feelings every day without hiding. We tried. In the evening, we sit down and talk. Today I felt anger towards Alex, or I'm afraid you will leave me. It helps, but slowly. Regarding Alex, the case is moving forward. The police officially charged him with identity theft and fraud. He hired a lawyer, and they are offering a deal. He pays a $5,000 fine, returns all the money already returned, and undergoes a therapy course for identity issues. I agreed because I don't want to drag this through court. It would exhaust all of us. But I met with him for the last time in a cafe with our parents as mediators. Our parents came from Ohio to help. Mom cried, "You are my sons, don't destroy the family." Alex looked broken, thin, with bags under his eyes. He said, "I regret everything. I was jealous of you since childhood. You were always better in school, in sports, in relationships. When you left, I thought this was my chance, but I didn't want to cause harm." I replied, "You destroyed my trust. I won't forgive you now, maybe never. Stay away from us." Dad said, "Let's give it time." Alex agreed to move to another state to avoid crossing paths. Emma didn't want to see him, but told me, "Don't hold on to the anger. It will eat you up." She is right, but it's easier said than done. Now about our life, we are planning for the child. Bought some things, a crib, toys. I go with Emma to all her doctor's appointments, and it brings us closer. At work, I got a promotion because the projects that Alex completed were successful, the irony, but I laugh about it. Friends are supportive. Mike organized a barbecue to distract us, but I still have nightmares about Alex in our house. The therapist says it's PTSD-like and recommends individual sessions. Overall, Emma and I are trying to restore our marriage. We went away for a weekend in the mountains to be alone, walked, talked, made love. It's not like before, but it's better. I love her, and I believe she loves me. The child is our chance for a new beginning. As for Alex, he is dead to me as a brother, but I don't wish him harm. Our parents are trying to reconcile us, but I said, not now. Thank you, Redditors, for the support. Your stories about forgiveness after betrayals were inspiring. Will we be able to fully recover? Should I forgive Alex someday? And how to prepare for parenthood after something like this. This is the end of my story on Reddit, but life goes on. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new stories.